I went through all the chores as quickly as I could for that. Are you kidding me? Hat says it all. Bah, humbug! What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. Tried playing some Scrooge movies on Amazon or Twitch watch parties, which is an adaptation of the Amazon watch party technology, and it was the worst movie experience that I've ever had. Couldn't even watch a 1930s Scrooge movie in mono without deciding, you know what, I am just not going to watch movies this way. I cannot, with any clean conscience, watch movies through Twitch watch parties. What a disgusting thing. Look, bottom line, if you're any kind of multimedia nerd, you're not going to want to watch movies through Twitch watch parties. The end. Why? Because it's a horrendously inferior experience, even though there is some pretty nice marry-up technology involved for copyright reasons. But bottom line is, if you're into movies, what you have to do, remember, you're talking Twitch, you're talking them with their primitive DMCA and everything, no system for content ID, none of this. So what you're looking to do, if you watch, and I was just trying to watch Scrooge movies, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Take this family tradition that's been in my family for a very long time and bring it over to the internet in this year when we're all forced home and things like that. By the way, did manage to decorate the tree at least, so that went right. And so I start this up, and I've seen a couple of people's watch parties, and these watch parties all were, well, here's what it was. I started up the watch party. Well, I've watched other people's watch parties, and they were able to have some kind of screen composition with the marry-up technology, where you would see, you'd see the screen, but you'd also see in the UI off to the side the reaction cam, because you were told to use a full screen reaction cam, this scene, by the way, in order to run stuff on Twitch watch parties. But here's the problem. Because you're using marry-up technology, you have to wear a headset in order to get any audio going. So cold ones are mandatory, because what a disappointment. I'd say that my attempt to watch Scrooge movies via Twitch watch parties is the disappointment of the year as far as Twitch and streaming in general goes. It's not an experience I would recommend anyone try unless they'd seen a movie before and they're going to pretend they've never seen it before just to entertain people. I mean, seriously, it's not worth it. If you're any kind of multimedia or movie guru, you are going to not like it, because because it's marry-up technology, you have to wear headphones. If any audio leaks into the U part of the stream, because remember, it's basically a synced up Amazon watch party. So if any of your audio leaks into your part of the stream, you get DMCA'd. If, these sniffing or whatever systems that the rights holders are running catch that, you get a copyright strike in your account because you're playing movie audio or something. Or if any of the video gets in, then that's another issue as well. So basically you have to wear headphones. So here I am. I mean, you see the speaker behind the Christmas tree, one of the surround sound things I have, which I've upgraded over the years. Home theater in a box. I've upgraded the sats. I've made a Klipsch Pro Media into a passive sub with two 8-inch cones that goes down to 28 hertz. I have a nice system for watching movies. And so in the name of streaming a watch party on Twitch, I'm going to forego all of that and wear a headset? If I had no appreciation for the art form, I might just do that. But no. And so with this failed experiment in watch parties, bah, humbug. Keep the hat in the shot somehow. Yeah. With this failed experiment in watch parties here, yeah, that's another piece of concentrated coolness with Twitch that is gone. So the Twitch channel is now down to retro gaming. The Twitch channel is now down to very limited retro gaming, MMOs, etc. I am not considering watch parties as anything that I will do on Twitch ever again. I just can't do it. I would have to be an idiot with no appreciation for good cinema in order to try doing something like that. To be forced to sit at attention, unless, of course, to be forced to sit at attention, and instead of leaning back in the chair with the surround sound going and the subwoofer rattling the house, I mean, why give up all of that just to be able to stream a movie? To Amazon Prime people as well. You have to have Amazon Prime in order to access the thing in the first place. It's just, it's so contrived. I mean, and it's something I've come to expect from versions of technology that get rolled out on Twitch. As today, when I was looking, well, first of all, I couldn't even find the 1951 Alistair Sim Scrooge movie, the classic that my dad and I have been fans of for many, many years. I went looking for that, and I can find it on Amazon to watch for myself. I cannot find it in the Twitch directory to watch as a watch party streams. There might be a rights issue involved there. So what I decided to do instead was I'd loaded up the 1930s colorized version of the 1930s Scrooge movie that was available, and I just couldn't see what the audience was seeing. And if you watch the VOD afterward, there's no sound. It's just me sitting there watching a movie. So it's not really worth keeping the VOD around on Twitch either. So by and large, the technology is just way too contrived, and it's one of those nerd projects where someone's like, we can make this happen, and therefore, just because you can make it happen, it's like, let's make it happen just because we can. Yeah, but it's not always the best way to do that. I can tell you that, for example, if I was trying to, I can't make it work, because if I'm watching a movie for the first time, I want to experience it with high picture quality, surround sound, and the subwoofer rattling the darn house. I don't want to be stuck wearing a head. I want to be able to lean back in the chair without looking lazy. I don't want to be, let's get some music going. It's just hanging out on this Christmas Eve before the windstorm comes in. Yeah. You know what? The jam was a pretty good one. I think I got to do more with that. Oh, shuffle was off. No wonder it seemed to be kind of weird. Where's that song called The Jam? Slink and his buddy did that. Where is that? We'll get to it anyways. Boom. Random and loop. That's 12 speed. Enchanty featuring Mr. Stabilina. There's another one called The Jam that I like. Just heard this a while ago. Could search for it if I really wanted to. You know what? Let's just load up some rhythm and blues. So it's something I just cannot get working. Not to my satisfaction, and probably not to my audience's satisfaction either, because I don't know if it's even streaming in surround sound either. So if you're into movies in any way, shape, or form, you're going to get an inferior experience via a Twitch watch party anyways. So I've seen a grand total of one of those. You know what? Well, let's see if we can creep the fan out over the edge and put the Bah Humbug hat on without it falling on the floor. See if we can get this to be part of something here. There we go. Humbug. One more letter. Just move. Or we could just do this. Who cares if we get part of screen number 2 in there? So yeah, Twitch watch parties, not worth it. I mean, it's one of those things that exists because it can, but that doesn't mean, it's one of those morality questions where just because you can does not automatically mean that you should. It just goes without saying. I mean, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Yeah, the watch party technology exists, but it's not a good way to experience movies because you're basically streaming. You're streaming and things like that, and you're not really getting to relax and just take everything in. So if you haven't seen the movie before, it's an inferior experience to seeing what the folks making the movie wanted you to see because of all the degradations in the video and the sound. You're watching it over the internet, so your bitrate's going to be lower, things along those lines. You have bitrate versus Blu-ray. You don't get surround sound, may have to wear a headset for copyright reasons and things like that. It's just not a good experience. And if you've seen the movie before, well, now you have to basically be like the guide to the movie doing a commentary, or pretend you haven't seen it before. Otherwise, well, how are you going to pull that off? And actually, much like Twitch Sings, another contrived tech deployment over on Twitch, let me actually go into the browse section of Twitch and see, is watch parties anywhere on the hierarchy? So let me sort everything high to low and can I close my side menu for followed channels on Twitch? The largest category on Twitch is just chatting with 285,000 concurrents. Where is watch parties at here? Jackbox Party Packs is doing well for some reason. Watch parties. Can't even look it up. Watch? No, I just can't find it. How about Amazon? Amazon. Nope. Prime. So can you even find the watch parties on Twitch? I'm trying to, is it in the is in the category at all? No, if I type watch, I get Overwatch with 16.5 grand. So no, where are the watch parties? Or does it not load because this doesn't load all up at once? So Twitch, watch parties, category. Get the help article. Twitch.tv/directory. Okay, so I have to... Okay, yeah, Remember what I just said about just chatting? 6 grand and things like that? Watch parties right now on Christmas Eve when people could all be watching things like It's a Wonderful Life, like the guy with 20 concurrents that I'm currently looking at right now. You know, watch parties, 445 viewers for the entire category right now. Out of nearly 65,000 followers, 64.4K followers, 445 people doing watch parties right now. So even if I could find it in the directory, live low to high, it would be, or high to low, it would be towards the bottom. It's just one of those things that exists, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea. Not for anybody who likes watching movies, things like that. I mean, it's cool to, you know, show the movie and maybe do a commentary, but that turns it into something very, very niche. So, yeah. What a disaster. I absolutely can't. This is, and that means the Twitch channel's even smaller now. It's just going to be retro gaming. Unless I want to do some kind of movie commentary or something like that, I could make it work that way. But then you run into rights issues and things like that, and furthermore, not like you're actually making anything either. If people aren't tuning in live, there's no point in doing a watch party. Because the VOD is just going to be you sitting there. Actually, it's going to be this. Let's see. Mute. The music is gone because I just muted it. It's literally going to be you sitting there doing this. Oh, that's interesting. I can't believe they did that. All right, we turn the sound for the computer back on. So it's just... So as a form of hybrid content, it just doesn't work. So anyways. Yeah. So what am I going to do now? We got the Windstorm coming through because it's Christmas, because it's 2020. So even the Christmas is going to be dragged through the mud. So what do we do? ESO until the power gets knocked out, or work on videos or something like that. Did decorate the Christmas tree at least, so that's a plus. But... Alright. The core of these streams is supposed to be making things. Let's load some things up here. Jay slides. Oh, the drama causer checklist is the last thing I had here. Alright. PowerPoint on Christmas Eve. What is wrong with me? Let's delete the rest of the Twitch drama checklist. Okay. Videos, streams, and stuff from streams. Now these three categories cover basically everything I want to do in 2021. I'm going to save this while we're at it. And here's the thing. So this year was when I got introduced to live streaming. And it's not just because I saw a couple of Twitch streamers and, like, you know, some people may be thinking, oh, he's walking away from everything he's ever gotten views on YouTube because he thinks he can be a streamer. I don't want to be a streamer. I think the term streamer is going to fall out of fashion very, very quickly when more people figure this out. But what you have here is, and I think the next big event we need to look at is the next quarterly, which, when was the Streamlabs Stream Elements Q3 released? October? I think sometime after the new year. We're looking at Q4. Let me search my own tweets here. Streamlabs Stream Elements. Streamlabs Stream Elements from people that I know. Can I do an advanced search? Streamlabs Stream Elements from the account at MultimediaJay. No results. Very interesting. Well, that's quite alright, because I can search my own YouTube channel for this. You can also check and see if the thumbnail's correct as well. The thumbnail gets all Teflon on here. Let's see here. This. Good, I got the thumbnail right at least. Q3. So Streamlabs Stream Hatchet. That's why I didn't get any results. So that was 2 months ago. So we're almost to the end of December. When was the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet? October. So November, December, January. It might actually be February then. No, this came out. No, this is for period ending in September. So it'd be October, November, December, with a report coming out in January. I want to see where the market share goes, and if Twitch continues to lose market share, especially when we start seeing the results of DMCA-mageddon starting to sink the numbers. If not Q4, definitely Q1 2021 should see some kind of damage from these unaddressed issues with Twitch. Also, don't forget the new terms of service with the simp ban and everything rolls out in January. So, definitely, if Twitch is making bad decisions now, it'll take a quarter or two for them to really start taking damage as a result of those bad decisions. But let's see here. So 3 kinds of content for 2021. Videos, streams, stuff from streams. So this represents me not being one of those YouTubers who never understands streaming. Because not only do I understand it, I understand what makes it unique and interesting versus making videos. There are certain things where if you make a video about it, you'll wish you have streamed it. And if you stream it, you're going to wish you've made a video about it. As I've experimented with streaming this year, I found out that there have been situations where I feel like the stream that I'm doing is a rough draft for a video that I could make. That could be a lot more on point, a lot less rambly, things along those lines. And that's because these 3 types of content have their strengths. So with videos, this is something you can make from scratch. You can plan the whole thing out, you can script the whole thing, you can deliver exactly what you want because of the power of editing. Streams is more of a hangout and let's talk about stuff type thing. The live component is in there as both a strength and a weakness. And part of the weakness is when you try doing stuff from streams like what so many streamers do. A lot of streamers' so-called YouTube videos are basically streams that have been cut up. What's the problem with that? One take, live, winging it, no chance to perfect it. So, this I think is a weakness of some streamer YouTube channels, and quite frankly, let's look at PewDiePie actually. PewDiePie does a decent chunk of streaming, but does he differentiate between live and after the fact? And what does that do to the numbers? We are not the neighbor's kids. Yeah, so let's see here. Oh, he's got a giant Among Us playlist. Members only videos and live stream. Ooh, you gotta be a member to see stuff after the fact? Oh, that's interesting. Minecraft, memes, etc. Is this real? Does he really do that? Members only content. Join this channel to get access to members only content like this video and other exclusive perks. I am not joining anybody's YouTube channel for VODs. Ever. I don't care how Twitch influenced you are. That just says, I mean, imagine if movies did that. Where they paywalled the video footage. You'd buy the movie, yes, but would you buy the raw footage completely unedited and derive entertainment from that? That is disgusting. Yeah, okay, so that knocks him down a peg as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so the thing is, with stuff from streams, you're fundamentally limited because the source material was live. Now, the analog to this, if you're into music, is live albums. Whenever a band does a live album, a lot of times you read about how it got put together and you see that, oh, it's 3 or 4 concerts that were edited together to sound like one coherent show. So that way, if something went wrong at concert A, they could use stuff from concert B and C to create what sounds like a best of show between all of those. I think maybe concert DVDs might, you know, not have this problem, or might. Concert DVDs might not be able to do this unless, for example, they have the various venues set up exactly the same way, so they can alternate between the footage and have it still come out pretty decent looking, or make it look like it's in one place. Maybe a bit harder to do on video, but I can definitely say for the audio side of things. But if somebody just basically made bootlegs of their concerts and then tried to pass them off as studio albums, who would buy them? That's the thing. Because you know it wouldn't be as good as something that some engineers made sound as good as it possibly could. Now, what's the fun thing about studio albums? Yeah, they're not live, but they're the sort of thing where you can hear them on the radio like 50 years later and they still sound pretty good. If you had good technology in the production of it. There's a song called Sad Eyes by Robert John. I recently posted that over on, let's see, get out of the Twitch directory here. That came out when? 1979? I find it interesting with some of these Content ID videos that the record companies are submitting to YouTube for Content ID. Because I wonder if they come off of Studio Masters, because I've heard some stuff from like the 60s and 70s that sounds really good. Even though it definitely sounds like it was made in the 60s and 70s. And despite, you know, analog equipment staying in the studios until the 80s or so, to the point where even Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction had a disclaimer on it. Yeah, released in April of 1979. Debuted May 19th on the Billboard Hot 100, reaching the top of the chart on October 6th. Merry Christmas to you too, Biggie Gaming. See here. It's one of few non-disco or disco-influenced songs to top the 1979 pop chart, although by then the anti-disco backlash made it easier for other styles to reach the top. It's also notable as the song that ended the 6-week reign of the biggest smash hit of the year, My Sharona. Yeah. So this is one of those light songs that I remember from when I was growing up, because my folks went through this phase for some reason where they basically listened to elevator music. Yeah. So they went through this phase way back when where they listened to light stuff. Like the light favorites with less talk playlist on my YouTube channel has this kind of stuff, like Phil Collins and Air Supply and stuff like that. And so this is one of those 70s songs that I often heard when they were playing the radio, and of course nowadays I go back and I find it. I've only ever heard it through stereo speakers or a car radio or something with stock speakers usually, and so now I actually hear the recording through my own system and it sounds way better. And I'm like, this thing was recorded in 1979? That's the fun part about all of this. Of course, you do have the problem with the loudness war and stuff along those lines, but that represents the limits of what stuff from streams is going to do to content creators in the 2020s, as mostly YouTube and Facebook. I know Trovo is now doing some kind of, hey, Twitch streamers, come over to Trovo. There's some kind of campaign going on with Trovo right now. But in terms of the big three, and this is what separates YouTube and Facebook from all the upstart competition that's trying to copy Twitch, the big three have a compelling reason to be on the platform that does not involve streaming, the one thing Twitch doesn't really have. And so it actually makes Twitch look like less of a platform, that they're so focused on live that that's all they bring to the table. So part of that is changing your attitude towards streaming. With YouTube, you're probably doing yourself a disservice if you try and run a YouTube channel like a stream, like you're streaming on Twitch, with clips, VODs, highlights, etc., just in YouTube form. I think that's probably the most primitive way to run the channel. And you definitely should look into videos that are actually crafted and show everybody what you can do. And you're not just, oh, I look nice and I bought a camera. So, you know, or I had to get a bunch of stuff for Zoom meetings in 2020 when I had to work from home, and I never did anything after that. So I think really coming out of the pandemic, this is going to be the sort of thing that everybody has to think about in terms of whether they want to stay involved in content creation, and the ones that don't, that's what shakeouts are, is when people decide en masse to get out of something that they don't want to be involved in like that anymore. Try to avoid anything that sounds like a personal insult, because usually in the business climate, when you have a shakeout, it's the weak businesses that get shaken out. I don't want to call anybody weak for trying content creation, though, and saying that they didn't want to stick with it. So videos produced from scratch, based on completely produced from scratch. I say crafted, and I mean it. Streams, winging it, live, and then stuff from streams. So the uniqueness of the stuff from streams things, though, the reason why I'm doing some of what I'm doing with the YouTube streams, if there's a killer part of a stream, so to speak, that would be better off as its own video, I'm going to make it its own video, and I'm going to have the elements in place, like the MultimediaJay title card at the beginning, and a way to cut straight to the end of the stream to make it somewhat like a video. But if YouTube beefs up the cloud editor and adds transitions, even basic transitions like a crossfade or the ability to fade audio, I would have a ball with that. I would have a ball with that. You know, and then you'd see, I'd probably go back and re-edit the stuff that I created so that the music fades out and things like that. So YouTube really, I mean, YouTube has a lot to gain. They have the more robust cloud editor versus Twitch, at least in terms of precision. I recently found out Twitch does have the ability to do a split. It just looks like a cut tool because it has a pair of scissors as the icon, but you're still talking the difference between an editor that goes down to the second and the editor that goes down to the individual video frame. And in the case of YouTube, when everything's fully processed, you get audio waves as well. So if you want to cut yourself at exactly when you said something and not have an extra second or two of audio that doesn't belong, that's how you would do it. So I really think, and plus using the editor to resolve issues like content ID claims by degrading the bitrate is probably one of the best things about Team Red in the first place. Because as we know, over in Twitch land, oh, something went wrong in your stream. Oh, you gotta delete the VOD. Yeah, the House of Cards is falling. And then, as more and more people besides us nerds figure out the weakness of DMCA on Twitch, now we have the new harassment policy to contend with. Straight from the bowels of corporate HR. As if they haven't had enough publicity problems in 2020. Oh yeah, well let's make it so that people think we've banned the words simp, incel, and virgin from our platforms. Oh yeah, that's exactly what to do when the streaming service has already been backed into a corner versus tech giants that are coming after them. And they're losing market share very consistently every quarter. That's exactly the thing to do. Again, Twitch leadership. Is there mandatory drug testing if you work for Twitch? I wonder about that sometimes. So, stuff from streams. So why would I even care? I mean, if a video can look better than something from a stream, why would I even do that? Simplicity. That's the big thing that stuff from streams would address, is the simplicity of this whole thing. Streams is winging it live, and stuff from streams, the strength is simplicity versus the mess that is the YouTube video meta of today. And I'm not talking about mid-roll ads either, with YouTube's recent attempts to ramp that up. I'm talking just about in-video advertising, calls to action, and these videos that exist where when you're about 85% through the video, you can click away because the rest of it's not going to be relevant to what you're actually watching it for. They'll rattle off their social medias for the umpteenth time, or they'll do some other call to action, or bug you to subscribe even though you already subscribed, or, oh, if I get 5,000 likes, I'll stand on my head, or something stupid like that. So, 3 kinds of content for 2021. All 3 of them serve a unique purpose, and the big thing is they should not be stepping on each other's toes. So in light of this, for videos, as we discussed earlier, WWMJ goes back to a more television-inspired format. Think 2015. Think 2015 before the overly long 10-year intro. It will be 15 years on YouTube in 2021. But I don't want a 30-second intro for every single video of tinkering with something around the house. At the very same time, I also have a computer to mess with, a successor to the Dellosaurus. We'll get to that at some point. Completely produced from scratch, WM goes back to more television-inspired format. Should be distinct from stuff from streams. Simplicity versus the mess that is the YouTube video meta of today. Videos are overcomplicated and don't get to the point as well as they should. So, stream highlights can fill this niche. Bada bing. There it is. And for streams themselves, better for hanging out and talking about stuff that's more time sensitive. Which, the inverse of that, of course, is videos. The more evergreen, the better. That's the strength of YouTube. What's this one? Sounds like something new. Yeah, Patrick Patrikios. Haven't played that as much. Still trying to find the jam. It's in here somewhere. I could just load it a second time for Slink. There it is. There we go. The work of Slink and Mr. Stabalina. That sounds like something that could go in at the start of a stream or something. Content creators. So, okay, so let's go over some of these bullet points again. Video is completely produced from scratch, like television, cinematic stuff, movies. The AVGN does this really well with the nerd episodes nowadays. Should be distinct from stuff from streams. The more evergreen, the better. Plays to YouTube's strengths with everything evergreen and focuses on the long haul. Streams are winging it live, better for hanging out and talking about stuff that's more time sensitive, more in the moment, and more for special events as an extension to everything else. Content creators someday will have to admit that they're limiting themselves by calling themselves a streamer. That's my prediction. Especially as Facebook and YouTube become more established as platforms with a mix of streaming and videos. At some point you gotta ask yourself, does barreling away, unless you have donos rolling in all over the place, does barreling away at streaming for hours every single day really help you versus taking those very same hours and making something that people will enjoy for a lot more because it's not, oh, snippets of some VOD from 5 years ago or something. Something to think about. Especially with some of these genres that I've been watching lately, like some of these historical animation videos. like with the country balls and stuff. Have you ever seen any of those on YouTube? Where those, you know, you could pretty much watch, they're talking about history, so it's probably the most evergreen content out there because it's written. It's already set in stone, basically. So you make one nice looking video about that, and what do? Make a 4K version in a couple of years and everybody's watching everything in 4K? And do you want to do that with a cartoon that could have been made in MS Paint? So, before that lovely song by Slink and Mr. Stabalina ended, I was getting ready to talk about two kinds of streams. So you have casual streaming and hybrid streaming. Two kinds of streams. Casual streaming and hybrid streaming. Hybrid streaming is, of course, streams that can be watched later as YouTube videos. Shorter length, more content packed. Not just hanging out and just, yeah, whatever. Guess which one I preferred. Especially with not having a lot of concurrent viewers in the first place. So you figure there's going to be an after-the-fact audience that shows up and watches stuff. Give them something worth watching. As opposed to, what's this? A little too repetitive. I'll stick to the funky stuff. You should load up just Slink or something if I really wanted to. Casual streaming and hybrid streaming. Hybrid streaming focuses on being just as watchable after the fact as it does when live. That's what most of my streaming is, too. I cannot for the life of me, with the background and presentations that I have, really justify just, oh, I'll roll the camera and just hang out. Maybe with games, but at least I'll be doing something in-game or something. But... so this is basically what we're looking at here. Videos, streams, stuff from streams. The hybrid category, stuff from streams, has its own uniqueness as well, with its simplicity and getting straight to the point. Versus, you know, putting on more of a show or something like that for more traditional videos. And what this does is this really... let's put a smiley face in here too, because we don't have enough smiley faces. So, this is the plan, basically. So I'm done with any Twitch grinding I may want to do. Especially when pretty much limited at this point with time slots, as well as what I actually want to do on Twitch, because watch parties are off the table after that mess tonight. I just can't find a way to make them work unless I'm doing a movie commentary or something. And even still, how do you set that up for after the fact? So you'd have to be like, okay, we're going to start playing the movie in 3, 2, 1, and I know some people through their Discord servers have watch parties, but then you have to deal with latency and other stuff. People might be off, and yeah, you know, what's the timestamp and things like that. But I think you could get around that by having the timestamp as you play the video on screen somehow without showing the movie for copyright reasons. So, it's just contrived. I mean, Amazon has the feature independent of Twitch. So, but this is where we're at. 3 kinds of content for 2021. The problem I have, though, is that streaming is so popular right now that it's way easier to get a higher quality streaming setup than it is to get a higher quality video setup. So you figure decent camera or DSLR is hundreds of dollars. This Nexigo, which gives me this kind of picture quality, and I can turn up the contrast as well. I actually got to go looking around for an app. This is about 100 or less. Probably because it's just a camera. It doesn't have 50 bazillion modes or anything that I'm never going to use. I mean, I use close to stock settings and everything anyways, and edit things in post. But I can just pop the contrast up a little on here, and just pop the contrast a little. I can mess with the tint as well. Psychedelic, man. Yeah, it's something like this. You can always turn up the saturation to make things more colorful. Or just do this. 90s music video time. Woo! Yeah, what does that look like? Figure video. Oh, wait, I lost my configuration slide. Close. Yeah, I've totally smurfed up. Oh, I can't get back into the configure video anymore. Hold on, it's underneath everything. Default. Okay. That does mean, though, that it probably turned the autofocus back on, didn't it? Yep, now the camera's twitching again. Turn that off, and then, it's so hard to move this thing because the thing's so small. There we go. Much better. Video proc. Let's just turn up the, we have white balance on here too. That's cool. Can we mess with that? No, it's locked. Locked at 4600. Let's turn up the contrast a little, like closer to 40. Closer to 40 starts to look pretty sharp. Yeah, Yeti Nano mic, pretty decent. And the big thing too is you got noise filters that blocks out stuff as well. So this looks a little too grainy now. And that's not film grain, that's artifacts from the video. Maybe we should leave this on default. Configure video, Alt-Tab to it if we need to. Default. Oh, man. Does it stay on manual focus or does the camera start twitching? Oh, now I can't click out of it. Close. Is there another one underneath? Oh, yeah. It keeps reopening everything. Well, now it's not. Okay, good. Fun stuff. Okie dokie. Let's measure finish up. So, 10:30 at night. Could watch some Scrooge movies on my own. There's some available on Amazon Prime as well, including some ones that I haven't seen before. So I think I'm going to make use of the Amazon Prime subscription before the Windstorm does whatever it's going to do. Now, granted, power outages, if they're a thing here, it means something very bad happened close by. So we'll have to see. Let's have to see what happens. But obviously, it's not friendly to live stuff. The good news is that by lunchtime Christmas Day, the storm should be done and over with, and whatever damage is done is done. So, we'll see what happens and things along those lines. But I will tell you that 2020 has been the year when I've gotten, when I've figured out what's going on with streaming. 2021 is not going to continue with this emphasis on streaming. Twitch affiliate is over, so I'm affiliate plus YouTube partner, and I've got administrative things to do on various channels. But by and large, I think everybody's going to get burnt out on streaming because this is the form of content creation that they're exposed to the most. If they have just some basic equipment from Zoom meetings and stuff and they're playing around with it when they're not working from home. So I think that a lot of people are going to get sick of streaming at some point. The limitations being tied to time slots, the inability to edit, and all this other stuff. And then let's not forget the Windows Movie Maker effect. Put the music back on. Let's not forget the Windows Movie Maker effect. If any of you remember the early days of YouTube when people using Windows Movie Maker would have a really flashy intro and then it was just a crappy webcam where, okay, you'll have nice graphics and then it's your 15 frame per second webcam afterwards or whatnot because you haven't gotten anything better. You know what? Let's try to simulate that a little. Can I actually change the... Oh, I actually have to go somewhere else for that. Webcam. Properties. So let's actually put this down to 15 frames per second. And what's the lowest resolution? Can I emulate the horrible camera of old? Blow this up to full size. No, the frame rate's still... I mean, it looks like a PlayStation video. Oh, man. I'm trying to do this with this camera. Match... No. I don't want to match the output FPS. 320 by 240. I can't put it down to 15? Let's do 720. Do 720 at 15 frames per second. What is this? Alright, let's make this a little bit bigger. Whoa, this is so big because it was 320 by 240 before, and I might have dragged it by mistake. Alright. Yes, they have a huge intro, and then they look like this. How low does this thing go and still give you a 15 frame per second option? Can I go down to 640 by 480? 20 frames per second. I go 640 by 480 and 20. Yeah, here we go. And it darkened things up a bit. It still looks too nice. I think it's doing match output FPS. No, actually, okay. Alright, 1920 by 1080 and set it at 30. I think it reset everything so that it does the other stuff as well. Yeah, it's doing autofocus. I can see it trying to focus and stuff. Plus, yeah. Stop playing with the camera. And you wonder why it doesn't work right. Something. See, it says I'm still on manual focus, but now we get this. That's something I gotta experiment with. Hardware level access via an app for this thing, if it has one. See if Nexigo has an app for these things, so I don't have to keep setting these back over and over again. So yeah, time to get back to the focus on videos. Happy Humbug Day, everybody. I'm going to watch some Scrooge movies with Amazon Prime Video with the speakers and whatever they happen to stream at. Of course, these are old movies. They could be in mono sound for all I know. So plenty of Scrooge movies to watch, so let's peruse that before whatever power outages we get from the Windstorm. Merry Christmas, everybody. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.